Listen, this point number 3 is very important. Number 4, what do you do if your earthly father was a failure? I'm talking to the men now. First, what do you do if your earthly father was a failure? Now I'm going to ask the women the same question. What do you do if your earthly father was a failure? And that is probably most of your experiences here today. What do you do? Well, I got an answer for you. Jesus said these words in Matthew chapter 5. Write it down, Matthew 5. We're going to read verse 48. Jesus said these words. I quote, "Be perfect, therefore, just like your Father in heaven is perfect." End quote. If your earthly father fails, God provides the model. You don't have to be like your daddy. If your daddy was absent all your life, you still got a role model to follow. So you can't tell your wife or your kids, well, I'm just like my daddy was. No, there's another father you could follow. Be perfect, therefore, as your Father in heaven is perfect. If earth fails, go to heaven. If you can't find a standard on earth, go to heaven for your standard. Because God says there's no excuse. You can take my standard and apply it to earth. So the question, though, is, what is God's perfect model of fatherhood? And that's what we're going to talk about today. The role of the perfect father. Now, I think the best way to start this is to talk about, how do you know a perfect father? I think you know a perfect father by the son. The children tell the tale. Are you with me? Yeah. Matter of fact, Jesus said, "He that have seen me," that's the son, "have seen my father," that's the daddy. So if you want to know what a good father is, you study the son. And study what the son does, and what the son says, and what the son thinks, because that is what the father has projected. Jesus is the perfect son, provided by the perfect father, who gave us the perfect model of fatherhood. And here's what I want to talk about first. The list that I identified from studying the life of Jesus. I'm going to give you a list. Jesus got these 10 things from his father. And every person, especially the men, should get these 10 things from their father. Number 1, identity. Say it. Identity. Number 2, work. He got his work from his father. Number 3, he got his purpose from his father. His purpose. Number 4, he got his heritage from his father. He was proud to associate with his father. And number 5, he got his power from his father. Number 6, he got his authority from his father. Number 7, he got his legitimacy from his father. Legitimacy. Number 8, he got his destiny from his father. His sense of future, he got it from his father. And number 9, he got his family from his father. He got his family from his father. Now, this is a very important list, because if you look at this list, the first one is a problem with most men. The average man is struggling with identity. And you get that from your father. If a man has no identity, then he is unidentified. If he's not identified, he is nobody. And if you marry him, you married nobody. This is why when a man doesn't know who he is, he always becomes someone else. He wears other people, like Nike, Calvin Klein, Fubu. He needs to wear other people's identity because he has none. Why does a kid want to buy a $200 tennis shoe is because his father didn't give him a sense of identity, and he has to identify with somebody. He would cut his hair like LeBron James. He would wear the same shoe like Michael Jordan. Why? Because he has no identity. He needs to find it in someone else. And that's why he joined gangs and dressed like other people, because the father never gave a sense of identity. The first thing God gave Adam was image. Let us make man in our image. If a male doesn't have a clear self-image, you are married to a schizophrenic. He will keep changing on you every week. He'll be one thing on Monday, another thing on Tuesday, and then on weekends he changes. In the morning he's nice, in the night he's a beast. And you say, what's wrong with this guy? He is confused about his concept of self. Father provides that. Let me give you some important items here. Jesus got his message from his father. That's the last one. He got his what? His message from his father. Everything he said, he got it from his daddy. You know, my father, he and I spoke last night, and he said, son, I was looking for you. I said, yes, Dad. I just got back from London last night, and we were chatting, and he said, I'm going to preach tomorrow to another church. He's 85 years old, still preaching. He said, I wanted to come and hear you speak tomorrow, but I'll come afterwards. So he's going to be here in a little while. But he wanted just to see if I was going to be here, because he wanted to come and get teaching. And I hung the phone up and I thought for a minute. My father taught me about God all my life. I got my message from my daddy. I love God because my father loves God.